Good morning, everyone. Really pleased with how we finished up spring ball last Saturday. We had practice 15 last Saturday and had a little scrimmage at the end. Most of it was just practice, but I look over the totality of what we accomplished over those 15 practices. And then prior to that, our winter conditioning. It's a strange year because there is no break. We didn't have spring break. We didn't have any time really off. We jumped right into winter conditioning when the guys got back, and then right from winter conditioning went to spring ball, which was really good, I thought, for us as a staff to keep the guys around. And we went through 15 practices and went Monday, Wednesday, Friday, early morning. So the guys were here by 5:30 in the morning, getting themselves taped and ready, and meetings and quick breakfast to get out on the field. And then Tuesday, Thursday, we had meetings in the morning as well. So it was a grind for the guys, for the coaches, for the players, but really productive time that we spent, and really pleased with the progress that we've made through 15 practices. Some areas of strength that I really like. I think our offensive line has just come leaps and bounds from where we were last year at this time when we had all the new guys and didn't have spring ball. But that's just one area that really excited about the growth there. And I know you'll have questions about the other positions, so we'll just start off with them.
We'll start here with Derek.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of touched on the offensive line, but I guess what other areas do you feel like you made the most progress this spring?
There's probably not an area we didn't make progress, but they just stick out because of how new they all were last year. A guy that just jumps out at me, two guys really. Cooper Beebe had a phenomenal spring, continues to develop and get better, and will be a guy that we can count on. Cooper plays so many different spots. The only thing he doesn't play for us right now is center. He's playing both guards and tackle spots, and really versatile, and had a great spring. And then Christian Duffy has really come into his own. We've kept him on the right side and had him play right tackle, and improved his body, improved his technique, and really pleased with him. Our fullbacks, tight ends continue to improve and get better. It was good to have, stable of running backs. Quarterback position is really stable. Really excited about the young players on top of what we have with Skylar coming back. Defensive line, linebackers, got a lot of new faces there, but guys are doing a nice job. The only area that we probably were down a bunch of guys still was in the secondary, because I think we had 3 or 4 guys that we see as contributors in the fall that weren't able to go through spring ball because of some surgeries that they had at the end of the season.
I asked this to Coach Riley last week, so I wanted to ask you too. You talked a little bit towards the end of last season about some of accountability issues that kind of plagued your program and that were kind of culture centered. How far along do you think you came in that capacity this spring?
Well, we've come a long ways, and we met on those things as a staff throughout December and January before the guys got back, and really came up with 4 core values of discipline, commitment, toughness, and being selfless. And those 4 core values we spoke about every day with our team at practice, in position meetings, in leadership meetings. And the guys really did a great job of taking ownership and holding each other accountable. And we had a tremendous off season with regards to the little things, not missing meals. I think we were at 99 point something as far as the meal accountability of kids not missing any meals up there, to be honest with you. Better with academics, better with tutors, better with mentors. And it starts with your peers holding you accountable. And so we've got a long ways to go, but with all the things that happened in 2020 with COVID and everything else, really pleased with where we started at the end of January to where we're at on April 4th or whatever that Saturday was. But obviously we have a ton of work in front of us.
Okay, last one for me, Coach. And have you been able to solidify anything behind Skylar Thompson in the QB pecking order, or is that something you kind of want to determine in fall camp?
Well, Will ran with the ones all spring because Skylar just threw some 7-on-7, and I don't know when Skylar will be cut loose to do everything from a team standpoint on captain's practices in the summer, but we hope that'll happen enough in the summer that he'll have some of the rust knocked off of himself, but it's just excited about Will Howard's growth. He got thrust into a role that I don't think any of us expected him to be in for 8 games and 8+ games last fall, and did a really, really nice job and learned from the experience, had some growing pains, but you see his body, you see the way he throws a football, see how much stronger he is, the good weight that he put on. Excited about the progress that he made. I look at Jaron Lewis, one of the most improved guys on our football team, as far as just the game is slowing down for Jaron. Excited about Jake Rubley, a young kid that just came in and is learning our system, but is a really, really smart kid that has a lot of talent. And Max Marsh, another quarterback that came in last year that led our scout team, did a great job. He's improving. So that room we're really excited about because we have depth and we have different classes. We have somebody that's a 6-year super senior to freshman.
Thanks, Coach.
Fitz.
Hey, Coach, how important was it, or what were the benefits of having Skylar around for the spring? Kind of unexpected that he'd be in this position right now.
Well, the benefit for him is to throw to moving targets rather than just throwing in the training room or throwing out on his own, maybe with a athletic trainer or something. He was able to be cut loose to be able to do non-contact drills. Well, we're not tackling our quarterbacks right now in the spring anyway, but we didn't want him having to step up in the pass rush and get knocked around. So he just did the 7-on-7 periods. And I think it really lifted the football team to say, okay, he's not far from being totally cleared on his rehab, as well as just having him engaged like that. Made Will better, made Jaron better, made the young quarterbacks better because he was able to watch himself on film. And I sit in on a few of the quarterback meetings. It's great discussion they have with Coach Klein, and it's a really healthy room. But just to have him back and going through cadence and stuff, I think helped Noah, helped our offensive line, even if it was in walkthrough periods. Just excited to see how quickly he's progressed and how much further ahead he is than a lot of people planned at this time.
And you mentioned it earlier, or one of the coaches did. You can't tell he had surgery. Watching him last Saturday was absolutely remarkable. How strong his arm is at this point. How surprising is that for you?
Just because I saw how hard he worked in the fall and winter, and even as the spring got going, I'm not surprised because he has such tremendous work ethic, and I think he was sore more than any of us thought he was going to be, because he hadn't done that. But we increased his workload in the middle of those practices, maybe 6 through about 9 or 10. When I say increased his workload, we typically do one period of 7-on-7 or one segment of 7-on-7 in practice. And from practice 4 or 5 on, we did 2 segments so that he could get a lot of throws. And he was averaging between maybe 60 and 80 throws a practice, which we were originally thinking maybe 30 to 35 each practice, when we were able to double that, if not more. And so I think it gave him a bunch of confidence that, hey, I can cut it loose and go play.
Let's flip it over to the defensive side of the ball. You had some really substantial losses with departing players on the defensive front and your linebackers. How much progress did you make in that area?
Made tremendous progress. Excited about the depth we've created on the defensive line. We're always a team that wants to play a number of guys in the D line. Eli Huggins, who had a tremendous year last year, playing at a really high level, taking over that leadership role that Drew Wiley had last year. Excited about Eli. Jalen Pickle had a really good spring. Timmy Horn, transfer from Charlotte's going to be an impactful guy. He's a difference maker up front with his size and athleticism and ability. D Hens provides a lot of flexibility and depth there. He's done a really nice job. Defensive end, Felix Anaduke is probably the biggest surprise for me. I know how strong he is. He just needs to continue to have the game slow down for him mentally, but he plays with a tremendous motor and does a really, really nice job for us. Spencer Trussell is, I think, ready to step into another role, an expanded role that will help us. At linebacker, The one that stands out to me that you guys do know about is Daniel Green. I thought Deuce had a phenomenal spring and really took over a lot of the leadership at that position. Cody's a really good leader, but Cody was out most of spring due to an injury, just did some 7-on-7 as well. But Daniel Green did a really good job. And then we have a bunch of young linebackers. You throw Wayne Jones into that mix between Wayne and Ryan Hennington and Austin Moore and Eric Munoz and Nick Allen. The kind of list goes on and on. There's a lot of really good players there that just haven't had the experience. And so I'm excited about the depth in that room.
Backing up and speaking of depth, that defensive end spot almost is overwhelming in how many guys you were kind of shuffling in and out who seem to be really effective players.
Yeah, and we need that. We need to be able to have guys taking 30 and 35 snaps and not 60 and 65 snaps. And, you didn't talk about Bronson Massey, who's played a ton for us, and Clede Duke that's played a ton for us. Those guys are going to be there. But, Brendan Mott's another guy that jumps out at me that has had a really, really good spring on the edge as well. So I like the depth we have. We're going to play 8 to 10 guys every week, and that'll make us stronger.
One final thing: how did Cade Warner come about?
Can't talk about that one.
Oh, we haven't
Right.
signed him yet. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kels?
Hey, Chris, it looked like you guys were playing at least some 3-line sets there on defense on Saturday. Just what is it that's appealing to you about that formation?
Well, we did that some in the fall as well. We did it, and it's more of our third down stuff. And that's what we were doing in the spring as well, as just working on a lot of different third down packages. We did it a lot more towards the end of the season. Baylor's when we really started to get into our third down stuff with some 3 down. We just didn't have enough bodies in the secondary this spring, but it's what we've kind of always done on third down situations. And that's kind of what we're looking at, is to do it more on third down, just to try to get some more speed on the field.
How much does that change that, 4th spot on the line when somebody's standing up as opposed to putting his hand on the ground?
Well, it helps guys like Khalid Duke and Nate Madlocks. Nate's another one that I didn't mention, but Nate had a tremendous spring that has really changed his body, gives a guy like Nate and Khalid opportunities to drop, gives them opportunity to rush, and gives them, more of an edge to be able to take, and excited because those guys can be rush guys, they can be drop guys, and it just gives us some more versatility.
And it at least from where I was standing, it seemed like you guys have added some depth at running back, especially with Joe back. Do you feel like you have some more versatility and depth there behind Deuce just this spring?
Well, we need to. It was good to have Joe Irvin back. He did a really nice job picking up where he left off as really a true freshman. We're excited. Joe's going to do some really special things for us. He catches the ball out of the backfield well. He runs extremely hard. He blocks well. I thought Jacardier Wright had an exceptional spring. We need a big back in there at times, and Jacardier ran extremely hard. The game is starting to slow down for him as well, as far as understanding not only the run reads and stuff, but catching the ball out of the backfield. And then probably the most impressive and important thing is the pass protection. And I thought Jacardier did a really good job there. So it's nice to have depth. Obviously Deuce is a special player. Keon Mosey did some really good things as well. So excited about the depth we have at running back.
Last one for me, maybe this isn't all that special, but it seemed like Julius Brents was completely unafraid to get right in your face and defend right at the line of scrimmage. What is it about him that allows him to be able to do that?
Well, he's 6'3" and 200 pounds, 205 pounds, and is a really physical corner, really smart, understands the game really well. Will have an immediate impact in our secondary. Already a really good leader amongst the group, has fit in really well with everybody, offensive kids, defensive kids, doesn't matter. Julius is just one of those guys that has that charismatic personality, that it factor, one of the most fun guys to be around. And we're excited because Julius is going to add great value to us in the secondary.
All right. Thanks, Chris.
You bet.
John?
Yeah, Chris, I wanted to ask about the receivers and just where you're at with them coming out of spring and how you felt like they did throughout practice.
Well, it's a work in progress at receiver. We didn't have Sebastian Taylor. Everybody knows he was still out. We didn't have Landry Weber. He was out from a season-ending surgery. We didn't have Seth Porter for a good chunk of it. Seth got banged up, but came and practiced a little bit. So it was Phillip, it was Malik, and then it was a lot of other guys that were given opportunities to see how we can grow the depth there and what's maybe the future. I thought Keenan Garber had a really good spring. Keenan needs to be an impactful guy for us. He's really, really fast, catches the ball well, needs to be crisp in his routes and be able to take the top off the defense because that's what he can do. And was excited about Keenan and just needs to continue to grow and continue to learn the route tree and keep doing a good job of pushing himself to be better because we need Keenan to be a good player for us. Eric Hommel did some really good things that I could see out there just as a stable guy. A lot of other guys were learning about Ty Bowman as a true freshman, did some good things. He just continued to learn how to play the position. But Malik and Phillip are the two guys that kind of every day you saw some splash plays out of, and whether it was Skylar throwing it to him or Jaron Lewis or Will or whoever else, it was fun. We threw the ball a lot more this spring by design to get quarterbacks a lot more throws with the Skylar situation. And so we needed more work in the secondary and with the linebackers and dropping our 7 guys. We need to get more work anyway. So it was good spring from a pass game standpoint.
With Malik in particular, where have you seen him progress the most from last year?
Just making plays and being consistent. Malik's a repetition guy, and he missed an awful lot of time last year, whether it was COVID related or anything else. Getting into a rhythm of practice when Malik practices consecutive days and gets into a rhythm, he's one of the best receivers, I think, in the Big 12. And he made some really splash plays throughout camp or throughout the spring ball. And whether it was on crossing routes or tough catches or vertical down the seam or in post routes, it's something we have to have out of Malik. Malik, we think, is a really special, talented player that has tremendous upside and ability. We've got to keep Malik healthy. He's got to do a great job taking care of his body, continuing to get stronger, continuing to get a little bit more weight on. But when Malik practices, our team at a high level, our team's really, really good because it complements what our run game can be.
I know injuries have played a big role in what you guys are having to do at nickel throughout the spring, but what, in an ideal world, what does that look like when the fall comes around?
Great competition. When you look at the nickel position, the free safety, the strong safety, Jerron McPherson's a tremendous football player that will line up at strong safety and play a ton of football and play at a high level again. At nickel, I'm not sure what that looks like. We didn't have a bunch of competition there in the spring. At free safety, Rush Yeast really upgraded us in the secondary with depth, with a guy that we think can be a starter, with a guy that can be an impact. He played a ton of football in the past, and you could see that on the field. Tremendous tackler, quarterback of the defense, can do a lot of really good things. He just needs to continue to learn our system. And as he continues to learn our system, he'll feel more and more comfortable communicating, but was really excited about Russ in the secondary and how he can help us at the safety spot. We were down Ross Elder, who missed the spring. We were down Hunter Henry, who missed the spring. We were down Amaris Brown, who missed the spring. We were down TJ Smith that missed the spring. So there's 4 guys that fit somewhere, whether they're nickels, strong safeties, free safeties, but they missed the spring. So we have to, those guys have to do a great job of getting together when it's captain's practices and some of those other things and getting their bodies ready to go because they miss so many repetitions. But all 4 of those guys we see somewhere in the mix in the fall.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks.
You bet.
Derek?
Coach, I think you still have a few spots remaining that you could plug in maybe more transfers, just, more counters there. Is that something you're still open to the idea of? And I imagine some of that might be in the secondary.
I'm not sure where it's going to be at right now. You just never know. But we do have a few spots. We're always looking to enhance and improve the football team. As everybody's going to learn throughout the spring at different institutions, people are going to come and go with the transfer portal the way it is. There's just going to always be roster management situations, and so we're looking for the right kind of guys to fit. I know this. We took 5 kids that transferred into our place that semester in January, and we hit 5 home runs when it comes to character and integrity. Those kids are going to help our football team, and they're going to play for us, and they make our locker room better. They make our team better because all 5 guys that we brought in at semester are really impactful. Daniel Imatorbebe is one of the most special, talented kids I've seen, and what a wonderful kid to be around. He's made our team better because of his work ethic and always having a smile on his face and being engaging with the younger tight ends, with the younger quarterbacks, as well as the older guys. He's a guy that's going to have a huge impact as well.
There's a rumor, or I guess, speculation that recruiting could open up in the month of June. What are you anticipating that looking like? Do you have an idea of what to expect?
I think we're going to learn more in the middle of April, from what I understand. I would say they'd probably allow players to come to campus, but I don't think we'll be leaving campus. So whether that means camps, which we hope we're able to have, and that's what we're counting on, is to be able to have some camps so we can get an evaluation on guys, as well as unofficial and official visits. We think the month of June is going to be really busy. I don't see us being able to go off campus. It'd be great if we could go to some camps and stuff ourselves. Although as a dad, I'll be able to go to a few camps because I've got to get my boy out and around a little bit too. But we're excited to be able to welcome some student athletes back to campus. I think everybody's ready for that. I think it's important for all of us, whether it's the student athlete, to us as coaches, to the communities that they're going into. I think we're all excited to be able to have kids come and visit your campus.
Appreciate it, Coach.
You bet.
Last one here, Kellis.
Now that anybody 16 or older can get vaccinated, how are you guys handling that with the team? Do you want everybody vaccinated by the fall?
We absolutely do. We'd like to have them vaccinated before summer. We don't know how that's going to look. I know that Lafayette Health Center is starting to put out some things to vaccinate a lot of the students on campus, or have the ability to. We are encouraging our kids to go get a vaccine. Almost all of us coaches have had 2 shots now and are fully vaccinated. We know the value. We know how important it is. We're going to keep pushing it. We hope there's not anybody that doesn't want to get vaccinated. We need to do a great job educating our players on the benefits of, maybe eliminating some social distancing, eliminating some mask wearing, eliminating some quarantines, all those things, so that we can get herd immunity, so that we can keep pushing past this COVID phase, because everybody wants to get back to some normalcy, and the best way to get back to normalcy is to get everybody vaccinated. So if you have a chance, everybody out there, to get a shot, boy, please take it, and let's get this COVID behind us and keep moving forward and get everybody vaccinated that can.